This is more for my family. Today is the 12th day of Kislev. It's the yaertzite of my grandfather, Mordechai ben Chuna HaLevi, who went to the world of truth 9 years ago. I think 1999. Interesting to know, my sister married someone. His Hebrew name is Mordechai Shmuel, my twin sister. And the Mordechai is my grandfather's name on my father's side. Shmuel is my grandfather's name on my mother's side. So the family's always connected. And today, his tante Renee passed away. She was 94 years old. So now they're even more connected that they share the same yaertzite, unfortunately. I just wanted to put a little history for posterity's sake about my grandfather Mordechai, and hopefully if my cousin Chanale or her mother Malka in Israel see this, they can add to it, and we can have a living legacy of memories about this man who, I grew up in America. He never left Israel once he was allowed to move there, so I didn't know him too well, but I got to see him a few times. He was born in Romania, and his mother's name was Esther, and just saying what I know about him. His father's name was Chuna. He was a Levi. He married someone. My grandmother, his mother, came from a religious family. I think her father was a rabbi. My father always said, Al Shalom, that she came from a family of rabbis, and her maiden name was Robinson, which used to mean rabbi's son. And their family didn't really like the suggestion of the marriage because he wasn't religious at all, and her family was. Not only that, but her mother, her name was Esther, and his mother's name was Esther, and it's not considered a good thing to marry someone with the same name as your mother. But they went through with it. Apparently, they fell in love, and they're married many good years together, and they loved each other very much. They had two children. My father, when he was born, he was the oldest child, and my mother, his grandmother, his mother, my grandmother, wanted to name him Israel after a rabbi. So my grandfather Mordechai looked at her and said, "That rabbi only lived 62 years. Do you really want your son to have the same mazel as that, the same luck, the same spiritual source of luck, as they call it, as they translate mazel?" So she said, "I don't care. He's a holy guy. I want to name after this holy man." So they named him Israel, and sure enough, my father passed away when he was 62 also. So it's funny that Torah says about Avram, God tells him everything your wife Sarah says you should listen to. So women are charged with a very unique responsibility of making sure that they're making the right decisions. Not that anything was wrong in my father's life. It's just from our end, from our perspective, 60 years is a very short time to have him around. Some people have much less, but some people have more. Anyway, he lived in Romania, but when the Zionists were successful and they got their state, Palestine, when the British left and the UN voted and they said, okay, we'll let the Arabs form a state and the Jews form a state. So they tried that. He applied to leave Romania with his family. I think it took the Romanians over 10 years to grant him permission. My mother's family, I think it took them 17 years. Him, I think it was a little less. And he said his one luck in life was, his profession, my grandfather, was he would go into forests and he would look at the yardage and he would estimate for you, if you were to cut down this and make it into timber, how much would it be worth. I don't know what kind of job that was, but apparently that's what he did. So he was very good with horses, and he had this horse named Lot. Lot is Avram's nephew in the Torah. Anyway, he said his big luck in life was that when he was able to, when you left Romania to go to Israel, they basically told you to leave and don't take anything with you. They wanted to keep all your possessions, but you were allowed to take what you can carry, basically. So he left with Lot, his horse, and my father relates that they were so happy that Lot was able to carry a lot of stuff, their stuff, and also some of the neighbor stuff. I believe they were able to carry a lot more stuff than the average person because of this one horse, Lot. So they went to Israel, and he lived there. He smoked cigarettes. He smoked 40 cigarettes a day. It was 2 pack. He would always smoke 2 pack a day from the age of 30 to the age of 90. He died in his sleep, passing away in his sleep. I think that's the best way to go. And he never really complained. Everyone who knew him loved him. I mean, loved him dearly. He was like a man's man. He was like, the one defining moment I have with my grandfather, it didn't really strike me. The fact that I still know it and remember it so well, so clearly, means it made a deep impression on me. But I keep reanalyzing this memory. When I was 17 years old, I desperately wanted to join the IDF. I wanted to serve in the Army of Israel, sensing that I was a citizen and I was natural born. And anyway, my time for military service had come. My parents really wanted to talk me out of it, and there was a big discussion in my family as to what should happen. So anyway, my grandfather put in his 2 cents, and he took me out to the balcony, and he lit up his, I think it was a Maverick, a Winston, he lit up his cigarette, or a Time, whatever they have in Israel, and he said, and it's like, I have no idea why you want to go to the army. He says, you live in America, you have a posh life, you can just go and be in the suburbs and be happy your life. Why do you want to pick up a gun and train and fight? And he looked at me and he said, I'm being honest with you, you're 17 years old, I have no idea who you are. I have no idea what's going on in your mind. I don't know what you're making a decision for, or what's going in your mind. He looked at me and he said, one thing I'll tell you is wherever your heart is, that's where you should go. Otherwise, you'll never be happy. And that was it. And I left, and I was thinking it was another piece of advice. And at that time, I was getting a lot of advice, but that advice has stayed with me since then in a way I can't even begin to capture in words. It's so poignant. It's so true, and it resonates with everything I've done in my life. So I thank him for that. And he appeared to me several times when he passed away, and also after my father passed away. One time I had a dream, and he was walking by, and my father was there, and he said, "So what you're saying is when someone blows, they blow from their deepest, most point." This is a point in Tanya. And from this I learned that by us learning Torah down here, the previous generations, they also learned Torah. And even if he didn't, I don't know if he opened the Tanya in his lifetime, but because I was learning it, in effect I was learning it with him, above spiritually, and he was benefiting from my Torah learning. Jewish belief is that the dead will live. It says in the Mishnah, the dead to rise, that they all come up in the resurrection of the dead, and I can't wait to see him again. It's been 9 years, and he was 9 years old. He had a good life, but I'd like to see him and my father again, and all the great Jews that passed away. So that's it. If anyone have from Israel, from Chana Malka, אם אתם שומעים את זה, אם יש לכם סיפורים, אז למלכה בבקשה להוסיף, ונעשה ככה סרטים קצרים, שנדע שהבנות של הילדים של חנה והילדים שלי, שיש לי בת אסתר, כפי השם של האמא של אשתו, אז נעשה ככה שהם ידעו מי זה למלכה. בסדר? אז הכל טוב וזרועות טובות, וששם יברך את כולכם, בכל מכל כל. Thank you and God bless.